country Philippines, we call an archipelago because we are composed of big and small islands, very good. And of course, we are surrounded and bounded by bodies of water. And of course, when we say island, of course, that's what's called isla, right? And we have that. Islands, of course, facilitated and spread of Asian culture in mainland and Asia. And but of course, you have to know the territories. Okay? Some of you have noticed, part pa ba ito ng country na to? Part pa ba ito ng area natin? Of course, you have, of course, also familiar by using, of course, a map and, of course, the designated territory. And when we say archipelagos, of course, stepping places for traveling in wide oceans. Can I ask everyone, have you been already in 100 Islands? In Pangasinan?
Yes, po.
Okay, to be honest with you, when I first time go there, I was so really amazed. Kasi when we say pala 100 islands, hindi ka pala nandun na agad, right? Kailangan pala you have to travel using, of course, a boat and go, of course, to the different places or islands. So very amazing, a very amazing place is that. Okay? Moving on, when we say archipelago, of course, Indonesia is the largest archipelago in the world, having, of course, 18,108 islands. While, of course, our country, Philippines, also known as an archipelago, having, of course, 7,100 islands. Again, Indonesia is the largest archipelago in the world. Okay? Now, moving on, also Japan. Japan, of course, also with 3,000 islands. And Maldives, of course, is 2,000 islands. Okay? And when we say Maldives, of course, in South Asia, small islands. Okay? And situated in, of course, the Arabian Sea and of the Indian Ocean. Talagang most special, very exclusive yung area na yan. But once you have been there, wow, the same as, of course, our country, there's a lot of beautiful things and you're going to amaze the bodies of water there. And this one, we have what we call a desert. Okay, what is a desert? What is a desert?
Type of like main biome with sand and
Yes, very sand. Yes. So when we say desert in Tagalog is desierto. And some of you, when we say desert, what comes first to your mind when we say desert?
mainit.
Mainit, right? Yeah, but later on, you will going to discover, even though that is a desert, there's also a cold area, a cold desert. Why? Because it is situated near, of course, in the what we call a temperate area or in the temperate zone. But majority, when we say desert, of course, the temperature there is hot, right? And of course, the whole year round, there is no what? The whole year round, there is no rain. Very good. Okay? There's no rain. And of course, they're going to feel much more humid. Sa atin nga lang, right, Philippines, hindi tayo disyerto. But sometimes, of course, we feel, di ba, yung maalinsangan, mainit, because we are in what we call in the tropical zone, having, of course, 2 seasons, but much more in what we call the desert place or in the desert area. In the years, there is no rain. And if there's no rain, there's no water. And as you can see in the picture, okay, talaga naman, there's of course also may mga grassy area, grassy part, pero wala kang makikita, of course, different crops, no trees, okay, and no other flowering plants, right? Talagang buhangin, okay? An example of that, look at the picture, in Turkmenistan, okay, what is the example? Garagon, black sand, and as you can see, and others, gusto pumunta dyan, right? Most especially yung mga very adventurous, sasakay lang sila ng isang sasakyan, wherein they're going to enjoy, of course, yung pagsakay, okay, doon sa sasakyan na talaga namang they enjoy, kaso nga lang talagang you have to be ready kasi lahat ng buhangin mapupunta sa mukha mo, right? But you have, of course, also to be ready to experience a very hot and a humid temperature.
Okay?
Yes. very good. You're right.
Yes.
Yes.
Minsan, sorry po to disturb. Out of topic po ito. Ask ko lang po. Yung mga, ano ba po, yung mga beach po na po yung sun nila black. Ano po yung cost po doon? Bakit po nagiging black?
Okay. There's so many things, what we call yung mga cost. Isa na po doon, of course, is the location. And of course, at the same time, yung bodies of water that they have. Okay? Kaya nagkakaganon yung kulay nila. Kasi of course, okay, very good question. Very good question. Look at, of course, our Boracay. The Boracay Island, right?
Yes.
Nadamage siya. Because of what? The people living there. Yung mga waste nila, sa nila tinatro, sa bodies of water. And through that, there's what they call a big impact. Okay? Kaya nagkakaroon, di ba, ng mga lumot, yung mga green,
Yes.
yung mga algae, right? Which of course, it is not beneficial. Hindi siya nakakatulong. But if it's healthy naman po, okay? Kasi, it's what they call the combination and the component of the chemicals na meron sa paligid. Kaya nagkakaganon ang mga kulay. And look at the example, di ba meron mga different colors of sand? Di ba may white, may black,
Yes.
may yellow, may orange? Because of the component, because of the combination, because of the area. Did you understand?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, very good. Now, of course, also this one, another sample of a desert, of course, in Israel. And hey, this one, diba, when we say a desert, a very hot and humid. But of course, in Mongolia and of course in China, okay, we have what they call the coldest desert. Disyerto is pero malamig. The reason why, because they are, of course, located in what they call in the temperate zone. Malapit sila doon. Kaya sila nakakaramdam ng malamig even though sila ay disyerto. Did you understand? And ang problem lang din sa kanila, okay, pag talagang malakas yung wind flow ng hangin, talagang sandung. Okay, mga sandung talaga nila, okay? Tapos makakaroon sila ng talaga
Next time, ikaw na ito mag-edit ka. ED ka.
So, para maprotektahan, para hindi sila matabunan ng buhangin. Pero malamig yung area. The reason why, because they are located because it is the temperate zone. Did you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
Because hindi po yun kapatagan. Did you understand? But the problem of course dun sa mga mountains, most especially sa mga forests, ang problem natin dun, once of course the people discover on that, ano ginagawa sa mga forests natin? Ano ginagawa sa mga mountains natin ng other people? Everyone?
Mine and this
Yes. Very good. Illegal logging, mining, right? And we have problem on that. Okay? Na-heard nyo na ba yung news? Yung news, kailangan pala mga estudyante ngayon ay magtatanim na ng halaman, pati ang mga magulang. Right? So, it's very important to have that. But much more, of course, in a plain or in agriculture para makapagtanim tayo doon ng mga crops, most especially rice. And of course also, what are the implications acted as spiritual places, sagradong lugar. Like for example, yung mga sinasabi nga natin mga virgin forest. Kaya kapag sinabi pa lang siyang virgin forest, never been. Okay? Hindi pa siya nasasalanta ng tao. But because other people, once they discover that, eto na. And when they found out na maraming of course resources, they abuse. But others, of course, we have to protect. Kasi once of course we abuse on it, sino ba ang maaapektuhan? Most especially, mas
British tayo.
we have to protect because we need on that. Okay, not just only us, of course, in Metro Manila, but of course also on NCR or in other places. Of course, yung mga taong nakatira doon. And of course also the animals. So that's very important on the implication of the landforms, of course, in the lives of Asian. And aside from landforms, meron din tayong tinatawag for the topography is what we call the water forms or the bodies of water. Okay. We have, of course, the river. And when we say river in Tagalog is what? What is river in Tagalog? Anyone? River tayo ng river. Kailangan we need to know in Tagalog what is a river. So that's why you will understand ilog. Very good. Okay, and as you can see, of course, in the picture, we have, of course, the Yangtze River, which is, of course, the longest river in Asia, of course, found in China. And, of course, also another one, of course, is Wanghu River. It's very useful to the people there for their irrigation, for their transportation, and, of course, for the development, okay? For the development, of course, for their everyday life. Then, of course, we have the Yangtze River. And this Yangtze River, you know, my dear student, is what we call the spiritual river. Why spiritual river? Okay, bakit siya tinawag na spiritual river? Because once naligo ka daw dyan sa river na yan, they were going to forgive, of course, lahat ng kasalanan. And it will help, of course, to attain salvation. Maliligtas ka. So, for example, kung ikaw ay very spiritual person in that country, pag daw naligo ka dyan, all your sins will be gone. Okay? Mapoforgive ka. And you will be what they call salvations. Okay? And then, we have what they call the Indus River in India. Moving on, we have, of course, the Mekong River. Okay? And we have, of course, also the Salween River in Myanmar. Of course, we have, of course, the Irrawaddy River, of course, in Myanmar, and of course, in Thailand. Okay? And we have, of course, our very own river in Cagayan. Cagayan River is also known as the Rio Grande de Cagayan. It is what we call the longest river and the largest river by, of course, having discharge a volume of water in the Philippines. It's also very good, of course, in promoting tourism. Okay, yung Cagayan River na yan. Okay, but of course, most especially at that time, hindi pa tayo nakakaano sa ating tourism because of the pandemic that we have. Also, the Russia, we have these two river. Okay, and of course in Iraq, the Tigris and Euphrates River. And as you can see in the picture, it's very useful, of course, in their irrigation. Look at their land area. May mga crops sila, right? They have what we call the irrigation to be able, of course, to water their crops. That's what we call the useful or the use of river that they have in their country. And we have what they call the Jordan River. Okay? And, of course, we have the lakes. What is lakes in Tagalog? What is nagdadala, of course, ng mga products from one place to another, one country to another? It's not just only the use of cars, not just only use of yung mga transportation on land, not just only transportation use, of course, in air, with the use of the airplanes. Of course, di ba sa water, trading ports, okay? Kung malapit lang. Means of transportation connect to other parts of the world, and of course also spiritual and sacred places. That's what we call the implication of water forms on the life of Asians. Did you understand? Did you understand grade 7?
Yes.
Okay. It is a very simple discussion and to understand regarding about topography. I want to make it clear that when we say topography, you are referring to the different land forms and bodies of water or water forms. That is what we call topography. In Tagalog, topographiya. Did you understand? Okay, now, moving on. What about the natural resources? When we say natural resources, what do you mean by that? When we say natural resources, from the word natural, what is natural? Saan natin makukuha yan? When we say natural?
From the nature.
Very good. And what do you mean by resources? What is resources?
Food or things.
Okay, yung pinagkukuhanan natin. All the things that we need comes from nature. All the things that we need is come from nature. And of course, we are very lucky that our country, Philippines, we are rich in what they call natural resources. And you know that already. If you still remember my discussion, the reason why the Spaniard conquered our country, right? We are not rich country, you know that. But we are very rich in natural resources. Okay? Because all the natural resources natin, most especially yung mga spices, yung mga pagkain pampalasa, okay, yun ang wala sa kanila. And the reason why we have rich of natural resources because of what kind of a climate that we have. We are the tropical country, right? And a very good for that. Okay, moving on. When we say natural resources, of course, in Asia, you know already that Asia is the largest continent in the world by a considerable margin, and it's rich in natural resources such as petroleum, forest, fish, water, rice, copper, and silver. And it has a different natural resources in Asia due to its diverse physical features. As I said, kaya tayo, our country Philippines, mayaman tayo dyan because of our physical features. We have different landforms, we have different bodies of water, and of course also the good combination of weather that we have. So that's why maraming different kinds of trees, crops, plants, flowerings, and so on and so forth. Meron tayo niyan. But of course, also the same countries in Asia, they have of course also natural resources that they have. Okay, now let's have. Okay, did you understand our lesson? My dear students, did you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any question regarding about topography and natural resources? Are you sure? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, do you have question? Who said yes?
No, Miss.
Okay.
When you ask, are you sure?
Okay. Now, yes, I know all of you will going to ask me regarding about, of course, the pointers, because you know already that next week is your first QT. I know that your other teachers in other subject mentioned already the pointers. For the coverage of your exam, okay, you have to focus studying about climate, vegetation cover, the one that we are discussed this morning, topography and natural resources. Okay, that's the fourth topic that you have, of course, to study. Okay, and that's what we call the coverage of your exam. My dear student, once again, do not waste yung part ng test ninyo na may essay. Doon ako nanghihinayang sa inyo, most especially kapag napakatipid ng sagot ninyo or sometimes yung iba hindi na sinasagutan. For your MQT, you have 15 items or 15 points. But for the QT, you know already how many points or how many items? You know already how many points and how many items? You have 20 points. 20 points for the QT. I repeat, you have 20 points. So do not waste most. Yes, meron multiple choice. Okay? But please do not enjoy. Kasi yung iba, pagkat multiple choice, enjoy na sa kakiklik ng kakiklik. You have to click which one is the correct and the best answer. But of course, before you do that, you have to read the question. Basahin mabuti yung tanong and choose and click which one is the correct or the best answer. Did you understand? Okay, later, to be able, of course, also to give you a review, okay, you will have your quiz and activity in the afternoon. Okay, you have to answer that. And I would like to remind some of you until now, those who failed not to answer their quizzes, please, binibigyan ko pa po kayo ng time to answer that or to accomplish. And very good, congratulations. Yung mga iba talaga naman, they are always on time in doing or in answering their quizzes. Congratulations. Okay? Magpasa po muna bago po tayo